1st, 2018. I am Goes. This is Starlog. Is that what it's called? What does Buzz Lightyear say? Something log, right? Or
and I'm Woody.
What does he say? Star Command? I don't know. Fuck it. That's Dan. Danny's in New York. Jessie Jess will be here in a little bit. Gorgeous George will probably be here after her. And then, I guess, hey, Mike.
Guess he's got to go under the bus every once in a while, too.
Yeah.
Jeez, goes.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Over top of people.
Round and round. Oh, that's what I was trying to tell you yesterday, Dan. When you go, what's that noise or whatever? It was the bus.
It was me. I was making the backing up bus noise.
Yeah,
oh, okay,
he was
yeah.
telling the story about his friend. So what I was trying to say was, or what Danny was trying to say was a bus was running him over.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Hey,
what's going on?
I don't know what just happened, but Jessie just walked in and then went instantly to her shoes.
I heard a bunch of car keys. That's what it sounded like.
That was a good observation.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good. This is you.
Yes.
Would you like a water or a coffee?
There's water here. Where do I get coffee from?
We have a Keurig.
Woo.
Want one?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back, Danny.
Okay.
Thanks,
Oh, wait.
Chris.
I can't do that.
Yeah, we're on the pre-show. I was like, all right, I guess I'll start talking.
Dude, I
Yeah.
forgot we're
Show
already
before
doing
the
our pre-show.
show.
Oh, wait. When George gets here, I'll do it. He's...
Aren't you Jessie Jess?
Oh, hi. I'm Sarah.
Oh, hi.
See you again.
You too.
Hey, George. Do the pre-show. I got to get something real quick. I forgot we ran out of cups.
Hey, George.
Hold on. He's going to throw on his headset right now. Switch.
What's up?
Hey, so there's a lot of snow around here, so I'm going to leave. And I have somebody taking over for me that lives in the city. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with him with Randy Gordon.
Oh, okay. It's Josh. He worked with you and Randy Gordon at the same time. Coming up in a minute, by the way.
So you're leaving now?
I'm gonna leave probably before the first guest. So if you can send me Artem's number, I can give it to Josh before I leave.
What time are you leaving?
Probably like 1:10, 1:15.
Holy shit! Why'd you even come in then? And did you
Marissa
not
told me
know there
to.
was going to be snow?
Marissa told me to come in. That's my answer.
All right.
I will gladly give you another answer over the phone.
Jolton Josh, right?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah, I'm down with
All right.
Josh.
Oh, you guys can,
Good luck,
be
Danny.
best friends together, and I'll go
Godspeed,
home.
Danny. Godspeed.
Thanks. All right, guys, coming up. Stand by.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
All right, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. It's the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our East co-host. To my left, most of the time, is Dan Tom, our fight analyst. And to my far right, doing some crazy things with her phone, it is Jessica Rose Clark, a.k.a. Jessie Jess.
Howdy.
Welcome
How you
back.
doing? Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What was all that with the phone? I saw a bunch of flashing. And
I was trying to do a boomerang of you. And
oh,
then you just gave
boomerang!
me a real staunch
I
look.
didn't know. I'm sorry. Well, I did go like this at first, you know.
Yeah, I know, but my hair looked really bad.
Oh well, no, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah. What's the coffee of choice? What'd you tell Goes to fetch you?
The one with the donut on it.
Oh, the donut. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said dino, as in dinosaur. I was like, whoa.
No,
Never even heard of that one.
No, I have an accent. I'm foreign. Yeah.
Actually, it's not one of the thicker accents. I should have caught that, and I did. It just took me a second. How you been?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Busy.
No, you haven't, and I'll tell you why. Because I saw your social media yesterday, and it sounds like you are frustrated, pissed, and you have every right to be.
Very frustrated.
Yeah. So within these 2 hours, you can pick at which time we can get into that, because I have your back. I am a dog lover. Which makes me an animal lover, you know.
Yep.
But regardless, I think you went through a lot, and to hear that we have a suspect, we have proof that, you know, because it could happen to me, it could happen to you, it could happen to them. That's anybody that's listening, them that are out there with the badges on. You know, and I don't know, man. I always thought that someone does something wrong and the cops kind of know who it is. Jesus, I mean,
they get
something's got to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So it almost sounds like I'm getting into it right now, but I will in just a second. Goes, that doesn't take that long, does it? Oh, it does? Okay.
He's making a special.
How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good, but I must admit I was a bit taken by seeing some posts yesterday by Jessie Jess.
Oh,
and
yeah, you were commenting on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it too, but I have my own stories. I've worked with experience with Metro in many different capacities, from working professionally to being on unfortunate end of things as well. And it's a soft spot near and dear to my heart. Let's just say that. But aside from that, everything seems good. It's great. We have a nice, great in studio guest here today, and it's a good Wednesday,
yeah,
man.
It's gonna
Doesn't
be a
even feel
fun
like
show.
Wednesday. It feels.
We have our two guests that were cycled over from yesterday to today, although I think one of them may be out again.
Yeah, it's Mr. Claxton had a flight delay, but he's wide open tomorrow, so we're gonna work. We already have that in process, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Let me see. We'll still talk to Devin Brock.
Yep.
And we'll still talk to Artem Lobov.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. And then the other thing I stumble upon when I get here is our producer's gonna bounce.
Yeah.
Because it's snowing in New York.
It's snowing really, really bad, and he's stuck.
Yeah.
So he's got to leave early. That's you, Danny, right?
That is me.
I was telling him, why did he even bother coming in? He might as well have stayed home. That just sounds like a lot.
I was told to come in by my boss.
And she's telling you to go as well?
Yeah.
Hopefully they're covering you for that.
I have no idea.
I think they should just put him up in a hotel room.
They should. That's what.
That's what I said too.
That is a common protocol for businesses. I can speak personally that are working in Manhattan and knowing people that have worked in Manhattan. That's not uncommon. So
get the guy a nice fancy room.
Yeah.
Let him have a nice dinner
Room
in
service,
a robe with his blue hair.
Yeah.
Floating
this would
out.
be nice. Yeah.
George
is my boss.
$66 a day per diem. Just give him.
But we got backup. Jolton Josh is going to be taking the baton from Danny. All right. So how you doing, Goz?
I'm good. How are you?
Good as well.
The good mood continues.
Yeah. Jessica Rose Clark is a phenomenal guest, because the last time she was here, she did really, really great. We clicked with the 80s stuff, and of course she's 2-0 as a flyweight in the women's division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship for 125. By the way, you're the only 2-0 fighter, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, because somebody was giving you grief the other day, like, what kind of right do you have, or something like that, and you checked them really funny. Well, I'm actually the only 2-0 fighter in the UFC, so how about that?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that was funny. And it's funny because coming from you, you're a very nice person. But every now and then we have to realize, you are a potent person outside the ring or on social media. Man, she'll just grab you by the neck and go, "This is what time it is." Anyway, all right. Let's get into it. I think that's just the best thing. I'd rather do it now and cover it since we teased it. They found the suspect.
Yes.
They're the one that burglarized your home.
Yes.
Fingerprints.
Fingerprints, a name, an address.
Right.
They know exactly who it is.
And you were told that it's just not prosecutable, or?
So what they said, because my housemate deals with them, what they said to her, one, they haven't replied to emails in 2 weeks. But the last email we got from them, they were like, oh, because he lives in Arizona, they're like, oh, we don't know if it's worth extraditing him or whatever. We just got to hope that he comes back to Clark County. And we're like, well, what the hell? Like, he has multiple felony charges just from our thing, and apparently has a bunch of priors in Arizona anyway. So we're like super confused why that's not worth following up. But then they just stopped replying.
30,000, right?
$30,000
was burglarized, not 3,000.
No,
30,000
30,000 from 3 different people. So that's 3 individual charges. Plus they killed the cat, which is another felony charge. And yeah, like we're more mad about the fact that they're just not talking to us about it. You know,
that's an awful human being, man. It just killed. And I mean, look, someone burglarizing someone's home is terrible, but I don't understand why he needed to kill your cat. I mean, like that is really a sadistic person, you know. Man. So you would think, now we got him, let's do something about it.
Especially like that cat. He was a big cat, but he was like a goofball, you know what I mean? Like I can picture him exactly when people were coming into the house. He would have been trying to talk to him and play with him. Like he was so friendly. It was sad. It sucks, but I actually, after I put all that stuff on social media yesterday, a lot
of retweets.
Yeah, a bunch of retweets.
And they did answer you.
The LVMPD Instagram page messaged me and were like, oh, you know, maybe emailing that response to you wasn't the best way to go about it. And I'm like, you reckon? Like, how about just talking to us full stop, you know? Like,
pick up the fucking, pick up the fucking phone, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, too many people don't do that. There's too much communication via DM, texting, email. It gets the job done. I get it. Right. It's not like I'm against it, but there are times where you could cover so much more ground just by talking. Just what I said right now, since just talked, probably would be like a long paragraph, you know, via like, who's gonna type all that shit?
Yeah.
And then right away I can get the response.
Yeah.
Like if LVPD was on the other line, they could say, well, you know, and give me their answer. So I don't understand it. I'm baffled. I'm confused. And the reason why this is touching home a little is because I joined a Facebook group. I live in Mountain's Edge, which is the southwest of Vegas.
Yep.
You're familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this big Facebook group. And on the one hand, it's kind of cool to kind of get to know your neighbors a little bit. And it seems like everyone has their back, you know, like, hey, watch out for this white sedan. It's been patrolling. So there's some serious stuff from some vans been parked up across the street from schools, and then the parents will say, oh, wow, we're going to notify the principal. And then there's other stuff where just like, hey, I found a puppy. And using that, they kind of notify each other, and then, boom, they find the owner. So it's been very productive. But on the other end, you do hear like, oh, got my car broken into, got this, somebody walked into my house, somebody's peddling this, but we think it's a sting. I don't know. Anyway, the whole time there are people that are saying report it, 311, 911, call security, call these people, call those people, and it's got me a little freaked out. But at the same time, we're now past all that. Her incident took place, and there's proof, and there's a bad guy, and for them to not get after him, that's bullshit. Because at least the stuff I'm seeing, they're like, hope you get him. Let us know if the police come through or whatever. Right. You know, there's still, I guess, the question out there of will we get them or whatever. My girlfriend got her car bashed.
Yeah.
Couldn't find who it was. We had our suspicions, but even then, it's like we just needed to move on with it and fix it. That's why we have the insurance. But there are a lot of people out there that are doing things and they're not accounting for them, man. I used to never hear about hit and runs. You hit someone, you pull over and exchange info, and if they weren't awake, you left them a note. And now it's just like no big deal, man. They just hit and run, like, see if you can catch me, you know? And if the police aren't going to act on it, then it's going to make people want to continue to do the bad stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Like, what stops this guy from doing it to someone else, you know?
That's the thing. In this day and age when we're talking about being preemptive and stopping things before they get worse, like, what if this guy does something even worse?
Yeah.
Aren't we all going to look back at this moment when we could have just got him?
It's really upsetting, you know, and just, you know, talking about incidents, and again, we don't have the same incident, but a similar one I had, you know, was I used to live literally 2 blocks away from a metro station out here, right off of Jones and Santoli. And it was a gated community and whatnot, and this is when I was still living with my mother at the time. And she was attacked going to get her mail. And I had to run from a guy, literally run back to the house and called the cops, and it was a big ordeal. By the time I got there, the cops weren't there by the time I got there. And luckily, you know, the neighborhood was pretty proactive. She was on the HOA board, so even though it was a private community, like, she was on the board was more than willing to help as far as anything they could do to cooperate with the police. The police took a 2-hour response time, though, you can still find from over 10 years ago till now speed traps on that road every day because we're prioritizing speed traps and revenue collecting over public safety, and there's a problem with that. Now, it's good that we have things like social media, and I'm not trying to get too political. I try to stay in my lane and whatnot, but when it's things that directly affect our community or our health or just things that just come down to being a common sense, good human being, I can't help but share those things. So it was good to hear Las Vegas Metro reached out. And I will say to kind of mild that thing, so I'm not completely coming at Metro. They're really good guys on Metro. From training at Extreme Couture for 10 years, I roll with plenty of guys on the mats that are great dudes. Before you hear about Brian Ortega being taken on these Gracie things, well, before Jiu-Jitsu was popular, in the 90s it was karate. And I was like a little Brian Ortega doing police demos in close quarter combat and did a lot of stuff with Metro. And there were a lot of really crappy personalities and attitudes that I found and a lot of egos, which I didn't feel comfortable with even as a kid. But there were a lot of really good people. So I don't think we should come at cops when we make these criticisms. I want to be real clear. I think it's more problem with the system. I think there's really good cops out there, and I want to make that distinction so it doesn't think like Dan Tom or anybody. I just think there's problems with the system. So, but I am glad they reached out to you.
Yeah, me too. Well, that was one of the reasons why I put it up, because like when we initially got broken into and I put it up online, the fact that I did was what kind of got us so much of a response and helped the investigation go along as well. So then when my housemate told me the other night, we were actually taking our other cat to the vet because she destroyed her paw somehow, and we were on our way to the vet and we were talking about Dwight, and she's like, oh, by the way, like I haven't heard from the cops. And then I was like, hey, this worked for us last time. I'm going to put it up online and see if I can't get a response. And I was super happy that they got back to us. So I'm just hoping they actually, the investigating detective actually starts talking to my housemate now, and we get some information. But
especially when you have a suspect. Like we weren't sure if the guy lived in the neighborhood who attacked my mother, but for our response, of course, we didn't have a suspect, so we didn't get a better response than you did. It was all right, and then they never returned the calls, nothing like that. And every day my mom lived there, she had to look over her shoulder.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I get I know they have a lot of work on, and there's good and bad in every industry, regardless, but I feel like this is pretty.
So we'll just say whoever responded to you is not doing their end of the bargain. This isn't some general blanket statement.
Right.
In general.
Exactly.
100%.
And for the record, everyone who commented on my Twitter and Instagram and was like, "Let's go street justice and let's be vigilantes," that's not the answer, guys. Just yeah.
I
I just want to say that.
I do see a lot of that, and that gets on my nerves too. A lot of Charles Bronson's wannabes out there.
Yeah, or they should put them in the ring with you for 5 rounds. That won't achieve anything. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
it's a good distinction to make.
Keep us up to date on that.
I will. I will.
Vegas has been my city now for almost 10 years, so pretty proud to live here, and I would hope that gets some sort of a resolution.
Yeah.
And of course, I think just by them connecting with you and having dialogue is important until it's agreed upon that this isn't going to work, which still would be disappointing, being that there's evidence and all, but for them to just not even communicate with you, that sucks.
Yeah.
Police like the MMA referees of the world. It's a thankless job, right? They can be utter heroes. It's like you're either a hero or you're just unthankful for, ungrateful for. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's just you're either, so every mistake you don't make is shame on you. All the slaps on the wrist, but you're rarely going to get the thank yous for being a hero day in and day out. So I think that's a good distinction.
Baltimore got one though. Did you hear there was another shooting?
No, and that's bad.
And no kids were hurt. It was at a school, but some kid pulled out a gun, shot a girl and a guy, but luckily the security resource officer that was there was a SWAT guy, had experience, and ran towards rather than away from. And it's still not clarified whether his bullet put the bad guy down or if the bad guy just took their own life. So the fact that there was an incident sucks, but the fact that at least in this case, this gentleman was able to save lives probably.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
And
the governor's already hailing him a hero. I saw it on CNN earlier just before we came in, so it's kind of fresh. And how about in Parkland, I think stepbrother or half brother of the bad guy has been showing up to the campus, and when he's there, they ask him, "What are you doing here?" And he's like soaking it in. So apparently, about 20% of the class left, and they just don't feel safe.
Wow.
Well, that sucks, man.
Weird
Those were
stuff.
like, you look back and go, oh man, I was a geek or whatever, and I didn't fit in, or I did this, or I didn't do that, or some people just thoroughly enjoyed it, whatever. But you still have fond memories of high school or even junior high. But to now think of what they're gonna think of, that is tragic,
That's
man.
horrible.
I came in right on the cusp because I was in junior high right when Columbine happened. So I was drawing like X-Men and violent stuff on the regular that was like normal. And then literally like a month later, I'm getting thrown in the dean's office for having violent. I'm like, I've been it's comic books. I've been drawing this since I was but the culture just shifts, man. And that was 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago, 97. This is 2018. Jeez. Yeah. So I was hoping it would move in a different direction and maybe getting more of these incidents. But yeah, man, it's whack to just witness this all.
Hey, can I ask, of the 30,000 that you lost, like, is it unreplaceable stuff or?
A lot of it's replaceable, but like things like my UFC debut gloves are gone. They stole a handgun as well from my housemate. She's in the military. They stole like jean shorts. Like they took really random stuff. A lot of it like TVs and pop toys. It's all replaceable, but they for sure I believe they stole some jewelry from my housemate as well. That was pretty sentimental to her. They stole some jewelry that was sentimental for me. Like it wasn't worth much, but it was still stuff that I have from back home that I can't get out here. So yeah, some's replaceable. Cat's not replaceable, but yeah.
Wow, that sucks. Maybe, I don't know. Have you thought of a GoFundMe or
Oh no, I don't believe in that. No, because the thing is, like stuff like this happens to people every day.
People like
You
to
know what
help
I mean?
people. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not the biggest fan either. But there are a lot of people out there that do like to assist when something like this happens. I just don't know how big of a setback it was, and you're just getting your career started, So I know that.
The thing is, like, we're all, myself and my housemates, we're all comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, we're not. It's not that we can't afford to replace anything. Like, that's fine. We can replace everything. And, like, look, I did have some fans from my Twitter and Instagram send us a bunch of, like, pops and stuff that meant a lot to my housemate because she's a big Star Wars and video game nerd. So she was pretty bummed that all those were gone. And then we had a bunch of people send us replacement ones, which were cool, But, yeah, no GoFundMe.
Pops are those little, they look like bobbleheads but with giant heads, right?
Yeah.
Danny, is that what you do on your show? Oh, I don't think Danny's there anymore.
He's not there.
He's
What?
gone.
Oh,
He does do those pops on his show, though. He does do
Those
those
are
pops
pops,
on
right?
his show.
The thing that you have
I'm
on your
still
show?
Yeah, the Funko Pops.
Yeah. Is that what that is?
Yeah, those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What the hell's all that?
If you saw him, you would recognize
You guys are
him.
putting it on the map like
It's
I
like
should know or something.
Okay, we'll go.
Yeah, you
I'll
should
go
know.
back to the 90s.
If you
Remember
watched
that
my show,
Teletubby
you would
craze?
know.
Oh, what?
Remember that Teletubby craze? It's like
Yeah.
You mean Beanie Baby
a
craze?
Beanie Baby, whatever.
Beanie
Beanie
Babies.
Babies. There we go. See,
Why would you say Teletubby?
it's all the same. It's just be colorful
But
characters.
when
Danny.
Jesse just said they stole Pops, I should have known what that was.
Probably
Do
not.
you have really popular ones? Are they
I've
expensive
never
ones?
even heard of a Pop.
They
But
were
you've
all
seen
like
this, right?
Star Wars
Yeah,
collectibles.
kind of get what that is,
Oh,
I
are you
guess.
serious?
Yeah, and there's a bunch that we haven't been able to replace. Like we've probably 80% of them we've replaced, but there's some. I got this one coming. Jeff Goldblum out of Jurassic Park.
What? Oh,
I
that's a
just
cool
got that
Yeah.
one. I just got that
I'm
one.
so
It's
excited.
So good.
Do they have
It's so
inappropriate
good.
pops, Danny? Do they have my favorite character from Silence of the Lamb as a pop, for example?
Is that-
They have.
In
They
a
have.
robe.
They,
You know what I'm talking
they
about.
actually do. They have them locked in a straitjacket. Dan, they do have them.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll take it.
Not your favorite character.
Not
but
my favorite.
they
All
have
right,
them.
all right. Stop with all this.
Wow, I didn't know they had this thing.
There is a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got them for everything. I have Elf, Will Ferrell out of the movie Elf.
That
And a
one's
bunch
awesome.
and then someone sent me this random Argentinian guy sent me a bunch of Pitch
Really?
Perfect ones. Yeah, because I love Pitch Perfect. So now I have a bunch of Pitch Perfect pops for some
I've
reason.
never seen that movie. Is it good?
Dude,
I wanna
oh
know-
my god! I can't believe you haven't seen Pitch Perfect.
Never have you?
It's a good movie, guys. You should see it.
All of them. The third one, I watched like 5 times in the cinema.
The third one is better than the second
The
one.
third one is amazing.
The first one's the best
And then
one.
This guy's never talked so much. In his
She's talking about
producer.
stuff I know
He
about.
doesn't care if he
Right,
walks
it's
in the
so
snow in
See?
fucking 0-degree weather. He's staying for the whole 2 hours now.
Pitch Perfect unites people. So I started fangirling over one of the bands in Pitch Perfect 3. It's like this bluegrass.
This is a 90s
band
craze.
from
You're an
Texas.
80s girl.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go back to Depeche Mode.
Pitch
Let's talk
Perfect is
about.
right
She
now.
picked the 80s songs for today.
Did she?
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, I was thinking of some on the way here.
What'd you come up with?
There was "Cruel to Be Kind" by I forget who, Nick something. Maybe you can look it up, Danny or Jolt and Josh. And the other one was, oh boy, it was a Depeche Mode song. I'll have to look at it, but it was pretty good because it's not one of the ones that's always picked as a popular one. But I know one was "Cruel to Be Kind," and I don't know. I forgot what the other one was.
I'm like super girl power right now, so I'm listening to a lot of Pat Benatar, Cyndi Lauper. Yeah.
Those are two good
That's
ones.
what I'm training to a lot at the moment. Madonna.
Hey, ice cream's crazy, isn't it?
Ice cream?
Yeah. What do you think of ice cream?
Well, I like ice cream.
Okay. I was trying to pivot away from the pops and I don't know what else.
I want to know what Star Wars pops you have now.
I will send you a picture.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, you don't know them by name?
No, because I'm not a Star Wars fan. My house.
Oh.
Is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not Star Wars
So
fan.
there's a bunch of
I
this
just own the pops.
at your pad,
Yeah, we've got like a whole wall of them.
and then that guy took a lot of this too.
Oh, all of them. We've replaced most of them now. But yeah, they took.
Some of them are really expensive. Yeah, there are some that
How
are
much is
like
an expensive one? Define.
500.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
500 for
There's-
one of these?
There's one that's worth 10,000.
Hey, is that the same as this, like in size?
Yeah, a little bit taller.
So this might be worth $500.
I doubt it.
If it was that. If it was that.
Maybe.
This
Is
is
it
pretty
Canadian
cool.
It's got a name.
What's the
Don't
difference between
disrespect
that and this? Because it was in a movie?
That's probably
Yeah.
not a collectible.
That's just a beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A hat.
From
It's not a
Canada.
pop, bro.
This is a Power Ranger.
Oh, man.
That's Deadpool.
George, you watch my show. I talk about pops on my show.
Danny,
So
I don't
you said
tune
you
in for the
watch.
whole 60 minutes, man. It's just a
Wow.
quick cameo, some support, and then I pounce. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Jeez.
But I'm in there. There's a lot of junkies that can't say that they've been in there.
Dude. All I
Mark
know,
is buying
It's
pops.
tonight, too, right? It's tonight?
it was, but the
It's been
snowstorm.
canceled because of
He's
the
got-
weather, yeah. I have to reschedule it.
Wow. All right.
Danny, make sure you pitch my idea in your next show. Inappropriate pops. There's a whole market that's not being
Oh,
touched
I love
here.
that. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You could have
Yeah.
like the you know, like just have scenes that you wouldn't think. Yeah, don't let me get into it. It'll be
I
bad.
feel like you really want this to be played, and that's the only
Finish it
reason
up,
you
finish
keep
it up.
saying
What
Well,
is
like,
it?
you know, you guys seen the movie
We got
Eastern,
about 1
Eastern
minute.
Promises with Viggo Mortensen? You know,
Yes.
the shower scene. You know,
Yes.
you could have him versus the thugs as pops, right? But then in the sauna room, it got pretty inappropriate. You have this guy,
is
this
for
music,
you.
right? The guy doing the
This
tuck.
is for you.
She knows. She knows my theme song. Yeah, you could have this song, the guy doing the tuck, right? Buffalo Bill.
Whoa, don't type inappropriate pop.
Okay, don't
Yeah,
type in inappropriate pops.
Don't type that in.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Take us out to commercial, Danny. Danny, we'll see you probably tomorrow, right? I think you're leaving. Jolt and Josh will be hanging with
Yeah,
us.
I'm heading out right now.
And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking to UFC featherweight Artem Lobov. We'll be talking about fighting. Stay close. We'll be right back.
38.
Close.
How old are you?
39.
You're welcome.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been. And because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
All right, here, just in time for the NCAA basketball tournament. SiriusXM has 3 channels dedicated to 3 of the biggest conferences in college sports. SEC Radio is on channel 374, ACC Radio is on channel 371, and Pac-12 Radio is on channel 373. Check them out on your radio or on the SiriusXM app. That SiriusXM app houses the MMA Junkie Radio Show, commercial-free and in HD quality. If you miss any episodes, you should go out there and download it. All right. We are going to turn here from our co-host, Jess Clark. She is hanging out with us here. She will go from being a guest to a co-host as we now welcome Artem Lobov to the show. Artem is a UFC featherweight who gets down on April 7th in New York, Brooklyn. The Brooklyn card, it's a pay-per-view, and he'll be fighting Alex Caceres. He joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. What's up, Artem? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's things, guys?
Doing great.
Thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on, and I'm really excited about this matchup. Caceres is one of those guys that I actually got to know through the Kimbo Slice YouTube days. Him and George Masvidal. It turns out Alex Caceres was also one of those guys getting down in the 305 down in Miami. So I know he's got that those fighter fibers, much like yourself.
All right, I didn't actually know that. That's cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're bored or whatever, maybe on your flight over, check it out. You'll get a kick out of it. It almost looks like a chicken coop. There's a lot of people there. They're around and they're betting, and he looked the same, just a little bit younger. Still had the big fro, and I think he was Bruce Leroy then. He's Bruce Leroy now. But there's not much you can pick up there as far as tactics and game planning, but at least you can get to know your opponent a little better. How about you, Artem? As a young guy, did you get in some trouble? Or you in the Buenos Aires or in Dublin or wherever you were living? Were you a good kid, or did you get in a little bit of trouble?
Yeah, I used to get in a little bit of trouble. I was born in Soviet Union, and then I grew up in Russia in the 90s. And the 90s in Russia were called as the crazy 90s. There was a lot of sort of mafia stuff going on. The country, went from being Soviet Union into Russia, so there was a lot of wars going on for territory and so forth. So we as kids, all we talked about is who's in prison now, who's getting out of prison. And, I always thought that was going to be my life as well. Whenever people told me you need to get an education, I always laughed at them because whenever I saw someone with education, they didn't really have anything. And the guys that had the nice cars and all the money, they were the mafia guys, and so that was my plan as well. So, until obviously I moved countries and kind of saw that there's more to life than just that. I mean, Russia's changed now from those times, but those were the times where I grew up in.
Can you almost tell a story where you possibly lost your life? Like, through these troubles, have you ever come close to not being with us at any point, or were you a couple layers away from that type of trouble?
No, I mean, I got into like all sorts of trouble, but no, I've never. I don't think my life was ever under threat. I know my mom had some run-ins with the mafia in Russia. She was in the 90s trying to, set up her own business, and she had some jewelry shops. And, we had a lot of trouble with the mafia sort of trying to, get protection money and this and the other. And, I've seen a lot of guys come to our house, with guns, on a regular basis. It was nothing really new to me. There was stuff getting blown up outside my house pretty much all the time, and at the same time when all this was going on, Russia was also in a civil war, with Chechnya at the time, which also added to the situation. So, but I never really came across a moment where I felt my life was in danger.
When you go back to Russia, have you ever been able to talk to kids that were kind of in the same position you were in back then, just to inspire them and tell them that there is a way out. Look at you. You know, you became a professional athlete.
Yeah, well, to be honest, right now there's not really kids in the same situation. You know, things have changed in Russia drastically. You know, every time I go back, I can't help but notice the positive change. You know, the country is certainly moving in the right direction. The economy is doing a lot better, and there's opportunities out there now for jobs. You know, there's an opportunity to get a good education and actually get a good job afterwards. So, you know, those guys don't really have it the way we had it back then, but of course, you know, it's still good to inspire, you know, young generation and show them that, you know, what hard work can achieve for you.
For sure. Artem Lobov, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He'll be fighting Alex Caceres at UFC 223. It takes place on April 7th, and your headline that night will be Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Goes, what do you have for Artem Lobov?
Artem, when you look at your record and Alex's record, it's fairly similar. It's only off by a few fights. When you look at his road to where you guys are at today and your road, what are the differences and the similarities for you?
You know, I just know his record, but I don't actually know all the names on his record. You know, I know the UFC guys that he fought, but I don't really know what he did before he got into the UFC. You know, my record, for example, you know, it represents a tough road. It represents a guy that was willing to fight when no one else would. You know, when you're asked to go to some other country and fight their local best guy, and you know the judges are going to be his friends, and the referee is going to be his coach, and the head of commission guys probably his relative or something like that, and you ask to do that for 100 euros. Nobody wants to do that. You know, there was only one guy that was willing to answer the call every time, and that was me. So my record represents that, you know, a true fighter, a real fighter. So that's what I represent. As for Alex, I'm not really sure, but he seems like a guy that wouldn't really turn down a fight as well. So.
Is there a particular thing that you can pinpoint in this camp that's been different from some of the other camps that you've done?
You know, it's always a constant improvement. You know, I was quite happy, to be honest, with my last two performances. Even though I lost fights, you know, there were certain errors that I had to fix. But you know, it's important to keep things that work. You know, because for example, when a guy gets a loss, they often want to change everything. But that's not the case. You know, a lot of the things still work. You just might need to make some smaller adjustments. And that's exactly what I've been doing. You know, I just fine-tune my performances to get the perfect performance. And I feel that it will come. You know, even Philly fight, I was quite happy with the way the fight was going. You know, he tried to take me down. I was defending his takedowns. I was pressing him. And I just didn't feel any threat. So I maybe got a little bit too relaxed. I ended up, you know, eating that head kick. Recovered, but, you know, I still wasn't really fully there. And obviously I ended up losing the fight. But, you know, I still, so what I changed for this one, maybe I'm going to come in a little bit tighter, especially with Alex being so unorthodox and kind of wild, and she likes those kicks as well. So I might be a little bit tighter than usual, you know, maybe my hands be a bit higher. But other than that, you know, I'm happy enough with my style. It's a style that appeals to the public. It's a style that has earned me a lot of fans. It's a style that has kept me in the UFC, so why would I change that?
You know, speaking of style, Artem, we look at Alex Caceres, and obviously he has his own style too. But, you know, he does like to fight from southpaw. He is creative. Obviously, you know, Conor McGregor is a name tied to your training camp. And now even Dylan Dennis, from what I hear, for, you know, the creativeness that on the ground, I'm sure he can help you. But aside from the big names, is there any names that maybe are helping you this training camp, or training partners that you want to give a shout to, or just have helped you, maybe coaches?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously our coach is Owen Roddy. You know, he's a great striking coach. You know, it's very hard to find somebody that will do good work on the pads. You know, everybody can hold pads, you know, and some people are better, you know, they know some good combos, whatever, but very, very rarely you see a guy that will tailor the pads specifically to your style and improve on your shots and add to your game, to your specific game. Every time I watch somebody or do pads with somebody else, it's always like, you know, they just call their own combos or whatever. They don't actually think of you as doing that. Whereas Owen Roddy, he specifically breaks you down and he really adds to your style and really improves your striking game. He's an incredible coach. I've never had a better striking coach. Never came across a better striking coach, that's for sure. So definitely a big shout out to him. Of course, my wrestling coach, Sergey Pekulski from Moldova, the Moldovan Mauler, as we call him, and John Kavanagh, they are my main coaches. But, we have a lot of hidden gems in the gym as well. We've got a Lithuanian coach as well. His name is Marius. And, he's a wizard on the ground, such a technical guy. And, he's just not known, but to us, this guy just does wonders. He has helped me take my jiu-jitsu game to the next level, and I can't wait to showcase that in the next fight.
That's great to hear, Artem. And, now, do you know which of those coaches, or do you know who in general is coming with you to corner you for in Brooklyn for UFC 223?
Well, John is going to be there, of course. Owen Roddy is going to be there. And then also my strength and conditioning coach, from Irish Strength Institute, John Connors, he's been with us from day one. I do a lot of cardio with them, in combination, of course, with Conor McGregor Fast program. But John Connor is coming with me to New York as well.
Artem, I got another question. Looking forward, the UFC is going to Chile, which is near Argentina, and you lived in Argentina. But I'm also hearing the UFC is going to make their way to Argentina, and we know the UFC is also going to Russia in September. So with all these shows coming up in countries that you've either lived in or are close to you, are you interested in any of them specifically?
All of them. I'm telling you, when I first started, so I remember one of the guys in the gym did a calculation. He said on average I used to fight every 41 days. And I would have fought more often if there was fights. There was just no more fights. I like to stay busy. I'd love to fight in all of them. Of course, fighting in Russia would mean so much to me. The Dublin show has been scrapped. I was really looking forward to that one. Chile, that would be a good one, especially if they have, I'm not sure if there's a Chilean fighter in the UFC, but, I would like to do one for Argentina. I know Argentinians, they don't get on with the Chileans that well. So, a bit of rivalry would be good. I could get one for them as well. But yeah, I would love to fight on all those guys.
Yeah, Santiago Ponzinibbio, I believe, wants the headline out in Chile. That's coming up on May 19th. Your fight's April 7th. 6-week turnaround. I'm sure you could do that. And then, did you say that the Russian event, September 15th, possibly UFC 228? Did you say that's been canceled, or what did you say about Russia and cancel?
Oh, no, the Dublin event has been cancelled. You remember the announcement?
Oh, the Dublin,
Dublin, 28th
right.
of May.
Yeah.
And then they moved that to Liverpool. But as far as I know, the Russian event is still happening. So, yeah, of course, I would absolutely love to fight there. And I think the Russian fans would love to watch me fight live as well.
Okay. And, Artem, let me ask you one more question pertaining to the boxing side of your camp. When you were out here the last time, we weren't able to connect, but you were out here to support your friend and teammate, Conor McGregor. And I noticed you got a lot of rounds with him. When you do this, especially like in the boxing world where people were brought in and I'm sure they were paid, do you do it as, hey, you're my friend, we're going to do this, I'm going to have your back at all times? Or does it ever become a business transaction where because you are giving them all these rounds, you do get payment for that?
No, I would never, I've never taken money for a camp from Conor, and I never would. He is my family, and I don't charge family.
Mm-hmm. All right. No, I was just curious, yeah. That's how these boxers tend to, I know when they go back and forth, Vegas, they always, it's always a payment thing, but coming over from MMA, I had a feeling that it was more based on the friendship than anything.
Absolutely. This was the way we came up, we never pay each other, we just helped each other from the start, and it's going to stay that way till the last day of my career.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, it's great catching up with you. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a safe camp, whatever's left of it. Safe travels to Brooklyn, and we will see you on April 7th as you get down with Alex Caceres. I'm really looking forward to it.
Muchísimas gracias, amigos.
Okay. Gracias a ti. Cuídate.
Adios.
Adios. All right, and that's Artem Lobov, who speaks Russian, Spanish, and English. Very fluently, too.
Impressive.
Yeah, that wasn't him just, hitting the Google Translator.
I would have been like, muchas gracias, my friend.
He lived in Argentina for a few years, and I thought he was going to give us a version of Spanish like Jess did.
Yeah.
But we actually sat there and talked, and he had the Argentinian accent. It was hilarious, man. So he you know, what he was telling us at the beginning of the interview, times were tough, you know, when the Soviet Union disbanded or whatever the correct terminology is, and, you know, all these republics became separate. It was dangerous time.
Yeah,
that was the end of the Cold War, and he was able to get out of that. You know, he sounded more like a street kid, I guess, in a way. But to think that now he's trilingual and he really, really, I think, offers himself pretty well in interviews where you can tell there's some intelligence and granted, he can be a little crazy because he promotes, you know, himself, and so that whole not just Connor, but that whole gym has, you know, very talented at that. He does do a little bit of that, but if you sit him down and talk to him, he's a pretty smart guy.
Oh yeah, real smart.
Yeah.
Although I do wish he had an Austrian accent, because when he said John Connor was going to be his cornerman, I wanted to.
Yes, that's what I thought as well.
I was like, have you asked him yet? Because when you do ask him, can you say, "Come with me if you want to live"? Can you make that
is that the Bruce Willis character?
No, John Connor, Terminator 2?
Terminator, okay.
No,
because you're right. You're right.
I wonder
That is
how
John
many
Connor.
people reference that
John
when they
Connor?
meet John Connor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I want to. I'm going to be in Brooklyn. I know that's the first thing I want to do is.
But you said John Kavanaugh, right? Or was there another John Connor out
John
there?
Connor is the strength coach.
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Kavanaugh is the SPG main coach. Yeah.
You know them?
I know John Kavanaugh. Yeah. I don't know John Connor. I want to meet John Connor because his name's John Connor.
What are some of your favorite movies from
Other
the
than
80s?
Pitch Perfect. Oh, from the 80s.
He's perfect. He's big on Die Hard. And
I've never watched Die Hard.
Never?
That's like no.
You
Die
just
Hard
stabbed
and Lethal
Dan in the
Weapon
heart.
are like on my list of movies to watch.
It
I've
ages
never-
like
so
wine.
you haven't
It's a
seen
good
the
one.
Lethal Weapon series either?
Never seen Die Hard. Never seen Lethal Weapon. Never seen Rocky. Never seen Rambo.
Come on, man.
I'm so mad right
I'm
now.
gonna have some,
Rambo? No Rambos, no Rockies?
I just watched Karate Kid.
You got something
for the
against
first
Sly
time.
or what?
Which Karate Kid? Then you want to?
I watched the original.
Okay, cool.
A couple weeks ago.
Did you like it?
I'm like, yeah, I liked it, but I'm super into like.
I thought you said she was into the 80s.
No, wait. I'm
No
super
Karate
into.
Kid's all up a
I'm
few
super
weeks.
into Footloose and Flashdance, Pretty in Pink.
yeah.
Weird
gotcha.
Science.
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
I've
yep.
been watching The
Good one.
Goonies, like
But
all that
Karate
sort of stuff.
Kid.
Here's what's gonna happen
Oh,
next
so what'd
time.
you think when you watched it?
It was alright.
That's it. Just all right.
The Karate Kid?
That's the
Yeah.
only word you could think of right now?
Yeah.
You didn't think it was weird in retrospect? Because I
Wow.
love Karate Kid, but now when you go back and watch it, it's a little weird because like
Whoa.
when are you gonna just entrust like an old man like here just watch my son, like make him do
Yeah.
chores with his shirt off, and like my mom would be really concerned if I was like, what were you doing all day? Like I was at Miyagi's again, and
Yeah.
what are
I
these
was
bruises?
shirtless.
Yeah, what are these bruises from? Oh, he made me take
But
my
look
shirt
at
off
the
and scrub
story.
his floors. Like
He
what?
gets okay for
He's teaching me
one.
karate, really?
His bike
You
gets
sure?
all mangled, right? And then the bike shows up and it's repaired.
Right.
And then he bails him out of an ass kicking, right?
So was he watching him the whole time?
No, I mean he just happened to be in his room and he overheard all this.
Yeah, but-
he saw the bike. He's the super. He sees the bike and goes, "Oh, okay, I'll fix this." And then after
Hey,
that, he
child.
sees an ass kicking. He interjects. I
Yeah,
mean,
but you have to be a parent. At some
It's
point,
true.
don't you go, couldn't you have just taught him without him renovating your entire house?
Yeah, and also.
Oh, that part.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of child labor.
yeah,
fucking
but
fence, the house,
Dan's
like,
going to the angle of the shirt
washing
off and
cars.
everything. This guy was out there fishing. It's not like he was sitting there going, "Yeah, keep painting, baby." He went fishing one day and it pissed off LaRusso,
true.
and then he was out doing other stuff. So it was a complete sensei. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it
But I
for me.
also think like, what's the kid's name? What was his name?
Daniel LaRusso.
The Karate Kid. That was his name.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a dick, man. He like.
He is a pain in the
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah,
He's the
so
worst
that's
in
He
why-
Yeah.
pointed it out to me once.
He
He goes,
is.
"Have you ever seen what a pain in the ass he is?" And I'm
Yeah,
like, he
he
freaks
actually
out. He's like
is.
neurotic,
Yeah.
right?
And his
Part
like
three.
his first reaction is to fight anyway. I'm like, that's messed up. I would never teach my kids to fight first. Like,
In writing, they said not a very sympathetic character.
no.
not sympathetic
So I'm
character.
like, it's like it's
Hey,
a fine movie.
cool
but,
soundtrack though, right?
Was.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super.
Really?
So like, I have this plan, right? I have this series of videos that I want to do that are all.
You don't like Cruel Summer by
Flashdance and
Bananarama?
Footloose. So I'm like, I'm onto Flashdance right now. All right, just that's my number one. That's my pinnacle.
I want to dance.
I've been
All right.
practicing my moves and everything. Like, I'm gonna do a Flashdance montage.
If I watch Pitch Perfect, will you watch a movie that we recommend?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Warriors?
I love movies.
That's 70s.
Oh, I have the Warriors
Doesn't matter.
anyway. I
Dude,
love the Warriors.
if you
Yeah,
can
I
get
love
him,
it.
if you can get him to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
a movie, I'm going to be really impressed because he owes certain.
Yeah, I have to listen to a podcast. Oh, Over the Top wouldn't be bad.
Huh?
Over the Top.
Well, Over the Top was one.
It's got Sly though. She's got someone against Sly.
I don't
You don't
have
like
anything
Sylvester
against.
Stallone?
I
You haven't
never
seen
said
Rambo
that.
or Rocky?
You guys
No.
are projecting. I never said
You
that.
haven't
make her
seen
watch
Rambo
Over the
or
Top, though.
Rocky?
Over the Top.
What
I-
other excuse could there be? That
I
guy's
saw-
an icon.
I saw like the newest Rocky and the newest Rambo. I've never
Wait,
seen
the newest Rambo, the
originals.
one with the creepy ending?
It was bad. I've never seen the originals.
Oh, you can't watch that one. That movie, the newest
Yeah.
Rambo is
Oh,
creepy,
really?
man. I have problems with that movie.
Yeah.
But what's the movie?
Yeah, what movie?
Well, it was going to be The Warriors.
Okay.
Well, I've seen the Warriors.
But if I had to pick between the ones that she hasn't seen, probably Rocky. Gotta see that. Right?
Yeah, that's combat sports related. I was gonna.
Yeah, but that's.
It is.
Die Hard. Would Die Hard sound more
I'll watch
enticing?
Die Hard. 100%. I've been meaning to watch Die Hard. I'm just waiting for Christmas.
Because then you'll get a lot of jokes. Because Die Hard's still popular. Like especially around Christmas time, they'll have like Mindra. They showed me their Die Hard Christmas book collection. There's actually like a lot of like. It's funny. It's still popular in today's lexicon. Like 20 years later.
All right, we'll see if we can come up with some more suggestions for Jessica Rose Clark, a.k.a. Jessie Jess, who's co-hosting with us here. She's an 80s freak. She loves it, although she hasn't seen the Rocky series or the Rambo series. And she just recently saw Karate Kid, so I don't know. I might have to investigate this a little bit. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take this last break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close, and we'll be right back.
I'm your Uncle Walter. Can I get a lift home? That'd be crazy, right? Anyway, here George and goes.
Start your day with SiriusXM. Enable the SiriusXM skill on your Amazon device, and then tell Alexa to set an alarm for your favorite channel, and you'll wake up to the sounds of SiriusXM. With SiriusXM and Alexa, you can get the latest sports news each morning without picking up your phone or turning on the TV. So, Jess, have you heard of George Michael?
I have heard of
Yeah,
George.
okay.
I actually chose this song today.
Because I gotta have faith.
Have you seen the special on HBO in regards to George Michael? It's
No.
2 hours long. If you like George Michael, you'll really like it.
Well, I don't like George Michael that much. I don't like it enough to watch him for 2 hours.
All right then.
Sure.
Shall I just leave? I'm not fitting in here.
Yeah,
Between
you're actually
these
trying to help.
Pops and Karate Kid sucking, and which is one of my favorite movies.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. We can't agree
I
on
said you
everything.
looked like you were 23.
I know. I appreciate that. That's why we're best friends.
You're,
but
you're trying to help the
opposites
things too, not
attract.
ruin it like I do.
All right. What stops you from us talking about a fight? They have yet to offer a bout agreement. It sounds like you're healthy, right, and ready to go, and you're ready to fight.
Yeah, like we're aiming to fight in July. Like I'm hoping they put me on in July because we're starting camp for July.
Was Alexis Davis the last name that we covered that sounded? You were happy to hear that name.
Yeah, and that's who I've still been asking for.
Okay.
And from what I understand, UFC likes that matchup. They like me for the Vegas card in July. They haven't started matching that card, aside from, obviously, it's Stipe and DC. But, yeah, Mick Maynard said that as soon as they start matching that card, he likes me for it. So I guess then it's going to depend on Alexis. Mm-hmm. And if she doesn't want it, then I don't know. I don't really care who. I just figured, like, she's a black belt. She's a veteran. She fought Ronda Rousey. Like, she's ranked number 4, I think. So for me, that's a good name.
Are you open to other cards? Other places?
Yeah, but I really want to fight in Vegas.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, the last 12 months, I've been overseas 3 times. I've flown through America 12 times. Like, I've fought everywhere, you know. So I haven't fought in Vegas since my international debut in 2015. I have a lot of friends and family here that really want to come see me fight. So.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. 1 more hour to go.
And I'm just a devil.
right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Goes, that's our last parking.
Oh, wow.
But we lasted until the third week in March, and I clearly remember getting a batch of 20 when we came back from JBLE in December. And that was early December, so we made it almost 3 months, or 3.5 months, almost 4 months.
That's pretty good.
It is. And speaking of JBLE, we're going to have a special guest tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be a show guest, but somebody will come by and say hello.
Will this guest bring a little chill to the studio?
Yeah, he will.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
He will, yeah.
Oh.
Do you get that, Dan?
Dan's very confused.
I'm trying to
Dan,
put it
if
together.
anybody should get it, it should be you.
Uh-oh. I know who that is then.
Yeah. So, should be fun. I wanted him to come later, though, to watch the basketball games because the NCAA tournament continues with, I guess they're in the round of 16. It's called the Sweet 16 right now.
That'd be perfect. We could have some frosty beverages.
We could, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So he'll be here tomorrow. So I'm going to let Misha and Stitch know because they met this gentleman and when we went to JBLE. And so maybe they'd like to see him. Misha's at 7.5 months pregnant, and she's fighting off dogs to save her dog.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, I shouldn't have said it that way. I don't mean like that she made an inappropriate move. It was natural instinct. Did you guys hear about this story?
Yeah.
So Misha Tate was walking her dog Scooter. I don't know the breed, but it looks like a miniature Doberman almost.
I think it's a miniature pincher, right?
Yeah. And so she's walking Scooter, and what's it called? A Cane Corso breed dog.
Oh,
jumps
big.
over the fence. It's a neighbor's dog, and runs towards them. And she says, "I can tell right away by just the dog's demeanor that it's not coming over to say hi and lick each other. Like it's coming over to maul." And by the time it goes after it, after her dog, Misha just had enough to like push it off, scoop up her dog, and luckily that little push startled the big dog, and the big dog ran away. But in the process, it looks like she fell, and you can see her knees on social media. Her knees are all scraped up pretty bad, and she just said, "Hey, like that was my reaction." And of course, for a while there, she was a little shook up because she realized she could have hurt her baby too when you fall, the way she did.
Reactions.
But she says, "Wow," she says that was just my reaction. I still have fight in me, and that was that. So it was on Junkie. It was interesting to see. Our dog, he's a Jack Russell Terrier. He got attacked by a pit bull recently.
Yeah.
And
luckily the pit bull's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No weight classes for the JRT, baby.
No, he's an open weight Grand Prix champion.
He is. Yeah. But that was on the front page of Junkie if you guys want to check it out. But Misha and Stitch were a part of that trip. And we have another trip coming up. So we will be taking a few days off in April. Let me see. April 6th and 7th will be gone. The 5th. No, wait. Right, guys?
5th
No.
through the 7th.
No, yeah. The 4th will be here. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Because we got to preview UFC 223, Habib and Tony, and the rest of the card. And after Wednesday's show, we take off, and we'll be gone Thursday and Friday back to Joint Base Langley Eustis to support the troops. It's a military morale visit. Myself and goes Eric Nixick, the Extreme Couture General Manager and coach to Uriah Hall and Brad Tavares and Brian Caraway. He'll join us. And can we announce the other names? I think we can.
I think
right?
so, right?
Yeah. Stephen Thompson, the Wonder Boy, will go with us.
Oh, nice.
As will the Black Beast, Derek Lewis.
That's cool.
So we got a nice crew going.
Nice.
We may not
for
come back.
That should be a fun trip.
For trip number 5. And
Derek Lewis and Stephen Thompson
I
need
can't wait.
their own TV show. I can already see it.
Oh, totally.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So we'll be out there, and we'll be visiting Fort Eustis on Thursday, Langley Air Base on Friday, and then back to Fort Eustis to host a viewing party for UFC 223 featuring JBLE tour alums Felice Herrig and Paul Felder. They're both on the fight card. So that should be pretty cool because last time when we made that announcement, the troops just really rallied behind them, and they were fired up and they were cheering hard. So they were actually coincidentally on the identical card when we went back in December. It was UFC 219 in Detroit. They both got wins and they both had huge pops, man. Everybody was really, really into it because you got to remember that where we hosted, let me see, when Dan was there, it was the room that held about what, 200 or so? And this last one was about 350. They said, right? It seemed like
I
a
think
little
it's
wider.
gotta hold more than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was really, really, really loud, and we had a great time. That was with Uriah Faber and Jens Pulver and James Vick and Art Davey.
Nice.
So yeah, we're happy to go back. Ben Folks will also be joining us on that trip. So it's kind of fun to go. You know, last time we took Dan in December, we didn't take a junkie, and this time we're taking another junkie. It'll be Ben Folks who will be going with us, and my man from the Jason Ford from
USA Today.
Yeah.
Not the Jason Ford everybody else.
It looks like he's in as well.
Nice. And while that's going on, I'll be in Brooklyn if any junkies are out there for UFC 223.
I'll be there too.
Nice. I'll be doing a food tour. Anybody? Not really a food tour. I'll just be getting fat, eating at good places. But if you want to join in on that, reach out to me, junkies, and I'll be attending.
A Brooklyn food tour or a Manhattan food tour?
Both, man. I got spots in both. I'm getting it laid out. I'm getting a game planned.
Wait, were we talking about a pizza place out there
Yeah,
last time?
I'm going to make sure to give you that spot too.
Yeah,
I'm definitely hitting that. I'm hitting that on Thursday. I already know where I'm hitting that. And I'm going to hit that on Thursday, and then I'm going to bring some extra pizzas to our other junkies, John Morgan and Ken, so they can enjoy.
Where are they staying?
I don't know, but I'm going to try to link up with them for some, at least to get them some pizza. Gotta feed the family.
All right. And can you recommend a spot?
Thank you.
Roberta's is probably the best spot in Brooklyn.
Roberta or Roberto?
Roberta.
Okay, yeah, that's a pizza joint?
Yeah, it's a pizza joint. Maybe it's related to Roberto. Maybe they had a thing once in, now Roberto, he's in the West thinking tacos.
What makes their pizza so good? Other than the water, I'm sick of hearing
They grow all their stuff, not just the water, which is ironically the cleanest in one of the cleaner states. They grow all their stuff on the roof, like right above them. So they got all their fennel, their tomatoes, and everything is being grown right there. They're bringing it in.
That's unique.
So you're getting it seasonal, and it just tastes amazing.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Sick. I'm there till Tuesday.
Yeah.
And my plan is to get super fat.
When do you get in on Tuesday?
I'm there Thursday to Tuesday.
Okay, I'm Thursday to Sunday, but I'll definitely give you that spot and other recommendations.
Yeah,
but
rad.
You ever heard of the group Till Tuesday?
No.
80s band?
I don't know.
Josh, can you play Till Tuesday? Just pick any song.
Sounds familiar.
I've never heard of it.
Come on, really?
I got you. Stand by.
I've never even heard of the name. I'm sure.
Okay, when you hear this song, you'll go, "Wow, really? That's them?" But that's them. You'll like it. I think you'll like it too. It's a girl singer.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you like the girl singer bands? Yeah, right.
I do. I'm into girls.
Have you heard of the Motel?
I'm into girls.
Save that drop.
Get that drop.
Save that drop.
I'm into female singers right now. Thank you.
Have you heard of the Motels?
I don't know. I know songs, but I'm not very good at knowing.
Pat Benatar's your girl, right?
Pat Benatar, yeah.
Guilty pleasure.
I think Voices Carry would be a good one, Josh.
Oh, okay. I've heard that song.
Yeah, that's Till Tuesday. That's a band called Till Tuesday. So when she said Till Tuesday,
Here we go.
All right.
She's an 80s gal. Maybe she should look up Till Tuesday. You should walk out to this.
I already have my song.
Do you?
It's a good one. Yeah.
Dude, you're swinging.
Listen
on
look.
this today.
See, when people hear this, they'll go, "Oh, I've heard of that," and it gets people excited for the walkout.
I have a good song though.
Josh, we're not in the library. Can you bump it a little? There you go.
Yeah, I remember this.
You heard of
I've
this?
heard this. Yeah.
Kind of mellow, but
I feel like this is always playing at the grocery store when I'm shopping. Yeah, this plays at Whole Foods all the time when I'm shopping there.
She'd have to walk out the Roman Coliseum, though, wouldn't she? By the time she gets to the cage, when's this thing gonna go up?
I know, I was bullshitting. This isn't really a walkout song.
She'd have to be fighting at T-Mobile and walk from Mandalay Bay.
Well, here it goes.
We gotta walk from the hotel.
This is good too because it could lull your opponent into a chill state of mind when you're going out to smash heads.
What if she's already come out and you're the red corner, and the whole time she's just melting like against the cage, waiting like Carla Esparza. You ever seen how Carla Esparza starts a fight?
No.
I kid you not.
Oh yeah.
This is Carla. Her team's behind her, and she's just literally standing like this.
It's like BJ Edgar too. Just
like she doesn't move.
Like super happy to be
You ever
there.
seen when Holly paces back and forth?
Yeah.
Like a lion ready to jump on its prey.
I always think
and
she
Carla,
gets really nervous.
Carla just stands there, and Nick from Vancouver goes, "It's like she's waiting for a bus."
It's like she's in an elevator, but she's not going very far. Maybe like to the 10th floor, and she's just chilling.
Yeah, she's just chilling, just saving every ounce of energy. I'll tell you a story. I was at the first fight, the inaugural women's strawweight world title. So they did the reality show, and it was
Tough 20.
It finished with Rose Namajunas, who was being hailed as the next Ronda Rousey by Dana White, versus Carla Esparza. Now that night, remember, Carla and Felice had taken a role towards the end of the season where they felt like they were bullying a few of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so towards the end, they were kind of villains. And remember, they'd go on Tough Talk, and these girls were like chirping at each other. So going into that fight, nobody was a Carla Esparza fan. And they were on Rose's side. And I think a lot of people just thought, oh, man, Rose is going to take it to her. She's going to maul her, you know. And then I'm sitting there, and I just see Carla just stand there like I said, like she's waiting for a bus. And Rose is on the other end, and Pat Barry's getting her fired up, and she's pacing. And I mean, if my bookie would have called me and said, hey, bro, you want any action? I would have said, fucking give me 10 G's on Rose. She's going to thump her. This other girl just looks scared to death, you know?
Yeah.
And as soon as they go ding or whatever, Carla came out. Fuck. I mean, all of a sudden, she just turns like the Incredible Hulk and mauled Rose Namajunas that night. I was like, whoa. Like, so do not judge the book by the cover, even just seconds before a fight. That's just Carla's thing. She just sits there like that, and then she goes after you. Win or lose, but she will go after you. And so then later that night, were you with me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
We ran into her afterwards.
Yeah, remember afterwards we ran out, and so all the fighters come out at the Palms, and it's a smaller venue, you know, so everybody's running into each other. And I never really talked to fighters much, especially after fight. But I see Rose with her mom, and she's just crying. She's she's crying, and she's trying to take pictures, and people are telling her, hey, keep your chin up, you know, you'll be back, and good fight and all that. But she's just crying. She can't hold back the tears. And I think we had her on our show, and so I just introduced myself or something. But I told her, you're going to be a champ one day, you know. It just wasn't tonight, but you have all the makings of a great fighter. You know, and she goes, thank you, you know, and she just kept crying, you know. And I think back years later, she actually became a world champion.
I'm so excited for this fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm
The
so
rematch.
Excited. Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Who do you like in that fight?
I'm standing behind Rose. Because, like, so last time I honestly thought Joanna was going to win. But I said if anyone could beat her, it would be Rose.
And what made you think that? The ground or the actual
no,
stand-up?
I feel like Rose, like, she's good everywhere, but her mental tenacity is unlike anything else. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't break. And that's the thing. And that's what Joanna was trying to do to her, was trying to break her mentally, because that's what she's done to people in the past. So,
you mean the antics before the fight? Yeah, those little pose-offs they have?
Yeah, and, like, Rose was just cool the whole time, you know? And I always felt, you know, that Joanna technically is so far, like, with her striking and, like, her wrestling defense is so far above so many people that it was going to take someone who was mentally on another level to her, you know? And then that was Rose. And I think it's going to go a bit longer this time, but I'm still leaning towar's Rose.
How do you think she gets it done?
Hey?
Oh, same question. Well, what kind
How
of
do you think
finish?
she gets it done?
I think she'll try and take her down. I honestly saw it going to a decision last time. I didn't see that happening. I don't know. I'd like to see her grapple with her.
So you think she'll win via, like, ground and pound or submission?
I'd say ground and pound. Yeah.
Okay.
But she's got sneaky subs as well. So we'll see. Joanna's going to come back fired up. But, yeah. I just think Rose is too, like, Terminator.
I want to look up the odds here.
I don't know if the odds are out yet. I haven't even started looking at that match, but I'm excited for it. I can tell you that for sure. And
I'm more excited for that one than Khabib and Tony. Khabib and Tony's going to be great, but I'm more excited for the girls. You know,
we were saying, all right, that's a great main event.
Yeah.
But some of the other fights, the matchup wise,
yes,
are so good that you're almost more excited
it's
for that.
It's a great card. Yeah. It's such a good card.
Yeah.
I feel like I should scold you for holding the fence.
Yeah, take a point.
It's the only time I get to do it. Leave me alone.
I feel like I've just been waiting for Khabib and Tony so long that, like, me being such a completist, like, I was talking to you before show goes, like, I just want to see it get done and just get done with. But, like, I also, like, completely agree. Like, there's some straight firefights on that card where I'm just like, we get to start tonight. This isn't even the main card. Like, I'm gonna be so excited sitting there, just like
Quinta.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness. And even just like on the Fight Pass prelims, you get to see, like, you know, talents like Magomed Sharapov and other guys. We spoke to one, Lobov and Caceres. That's another fight. And those are like Fight Pass fights, and that stuff you're seeing on main cards like nowadays and stuff. That card just top to bottom is
it's fantastic.
I'm excited.
Do you have a special, like, when you watch a card at home or with friends? Is there like a certain meal you like to have, or what do you give importance to that day?
Wait, what's the question again?
So, like, for us, when we have a fight card that we're gonna watch at home, most of the time we have like a round table pizza, right?
Or goes barbecue.
Or I barbecue.
Yeah,
Is there a certain tradition that you go through to watch fights?
Yes. So either I go to John Wood, my coach's house, and his mom makes us Mexican food. She's really good at it. Or I go to Hooters and eat wings. So they're the only two places I ever go to watch fights. If I'm not there, then I'm not watching it.
All right.
But like Hooters wings and beer is probably one of my favorite things.
What kind of beer?
I just drink Blue Moon. That's it. I'm not a heavy beer drinker.
I ruined myself from some Blue Moon. I haven't tried it since, but that was like 10 years ago. Random thought.
You guys want to hear the odds, or do you want to clash more?
Yeah.
Oh.
Clashmore?
Yeah.
Why no?
I want you guys
What,
to clash
he doesn't
more.
like Mexican
I
food
can't
or
stand
Hooters?
Hooters.
See, it's the like.
It's not the viewing experience, and I happen to not like wings, so I can't say it's not the wings. I've been told by people they have great wings, but for some reason, when I go and have anything else, because I don't like the wings, I haven't liked the food.
Well, I've never had anything but the wings. So they do these like bacon wrapped wings, and it's just this particular experience. I would never go there outside of watching the fights and drinking Blue Moon and eating bacon wrapped wings. It's just this one particular.
They have bacon
instance
wrapped wings?
Yes, they do.
I never heard of that before in my
Oh
life. How
my
did I not know
God.
about this?
That's why I go to Hooters.
Don't tell me these things.
Bacon wrapped wings.
Oh! All right.
Like I say, I have no
agree.
problem
I
with the
don't like
wings.
Hooters. I don't choose to go there outside of that one specific occasion.
Do you remember Kim Couture had a promotion out here? She promoted one event. I can't remember. It was like
Yeah,
a night
Pyle
fight,
and
something like
Alessio and Haran were on it. And they
Yeah.
all got wins.
Well,
She
the
broke her jaw,
weigh-ins-
right?
Yeah, the weigh-ins were at Hooters, and I just remember. I think you got a burger, and they brought you packets of ketchup and.
Stupid. It was, man.
Like
It was
the weirdest thing ever.
bread, meat, and everything was just
Nice little fork and
dry.
knife.
I think
Yeah, it was
the
a pack
lettuce
of
and
mayo
tomato
and
was on the
ketchup,
side.
and they go here, and we were like, "What? How's this a place?"
I mean, I could get fucking sixth graders at a car wash. The you know how they're making burgers and dogs on the side or whatever, that they would do better. It just wasn't tasty, and you have to build it yourself, and I don't know.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that when you get the burgers and they're all like, it's deconstructed.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to make my own damn burger, I wouldn't be here.
The
Yeah.
worst one is the Korean place that makes you cook your own meat.
Yes, that's what I was
That's a
about to say.
scam. How is that a
shabu thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Korean
what it's called.
barbecue.
Yeah, they make you cook your own
Yeah.
meal, and then
You
they
have,
charge
like-
you.
You have like a little hot plate in the middle and they give you raw meat and you cook it.
Yeah.
I've seen
That's
it. I have a
rubbish.
buddy that owns
Yeah.
one of those
Microwave.
spots. I'll hold back. But let me ask you this: what about when you get breakfast?
Okay.
And they bring you your bread, and they go, the butter and jam's right there. Now, I get the jam. I can do that myself. But don't you like it in the back when they just butter it for you?
What on my damn bread?
Right? Okay, I was wondering if I was the only weirdo.
I agree.
Yeah, that is weird. I mean, most breakfast places usually come out with the butter, but at the same time, I'm used to buttering my own roll if it's a non-breakfast time. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm either way
once
on
your
that
bread's
one.
been buttered for you, there's no going back.
I know.
Jesus, first world problems.
All right, so let's go back to the odds here. The odds are Joanna is the favorite at -150. Rose is +120. Now,
fair.
like Jess says, hey, she liked Rose the first time. She's going with her again. That's music to her ears. She's getting the underdog,
Yep.
the world champion at plus money. And anyone that feels like it was an upset, you know, the planets lined up, Joanna's going to tee her up, then -150 is about as low as you're going to get Joanna. You know what I mean? So what do? This isn't your breakdown. This isn't your official junkie pick. But just like Jess said, which way she's leaning, what way are you leaning right now?
I'm leaning towards Joanna. Everything in my heart says go Rose, but anytime you can give me gambling-wise one of the greatest fighters in that weight class at that price, I take her. -150?
Yeah. About every week as we get closer to the fight, I'm going to feel less that I'm supporting Joanna, because one thing still rings with me. Even when Joanna's been dominant, someone's always hit her and she's always fallen. You know what I mean? Why is that? Why doesn't her... Is it her ability to or inability to rehydrate? You know, why is it that she takes these shots and goes down and she'll come back and still
might be
whoop
chinny.
some ass? Huh?
She might be chinny.
Could be. You know, I don't know.
I
Rose clocked her pretty good, but did Rose hit a lot of people and people didn't just go down like that? Did Rose develop power, or again is she a little chinny?
That's tough. I'm gonna have to go back and look. But a theory that I had going into it, I picked Joanna to win against Rose, but I didn't think the odds, because she was getting -400 4-1 odds, where Rose was like +355, right? Whereas I actually picked Jessica Andrade to upset
So did I.
Yan Jacek the fight before, because I saw that, and I kind of compared it to GSP.
Oh, you saw the...
Just her getting. Well, you go back and track. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I want to say 3 out of her last 4 fights she got dropped or significantly
Carolina dropped
stunned.
her, And so did Claudia.
Yep. And you go back and look at that, and I kind of compare it to the GSP model where you're so good at all areas and you can dominate a fight for 25 minutes, and that's amazing. You have all these title defenses, and that's all great. But there's no free ride in the sport or in life. It's good. You got to pay for that somewhere. So if you're dominating and looking great, but it's going 25 minutes and the fight's seeing all these different areas, you have to pay for it somewhere. And now, like you said, with the whole weight cutting thing that came out, that opens the door for that, which is a fair criticism, and it's for a health concern. It opens the door for the criticism. How much is that? Draining the fluid.
Yeah.
So it's worrisome. As far as the odds right now, I'll just say real quick, if you like Joanna, maybe get it on it early. But if you like Rose, wait, because I think that number is going to grow. You're going to get a better number. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I don't think Rose or Carolina are overly powerful strikers.
Is that too?
They're good strikers, but I don't see them having a whole lot of power, So.
Right.
But you can blame it on the weight cut.
But you've seen it too, right? Joanna has fallen to punches in it. The weird thing is, when she usually comes back from it, she'll still just put it on you one way or another. So you almost think well, is that what it takes to get her going?
Yeah.
But in this case, I always thought it was something different. She's one of the bigger 15ers.
Yes.
She's teased going up to 25, and now, of course, she's been very open about the weight cuts, and I think it had to do a little bit with that, and now the cumulative damage from the previous fights.
Well, she's had a lot of fights as well, and her background is in striking, which means she's getting a lot more headshots than what a lot of these MMA fighters do.
Yeah.
Let's take some calls. By the way, Taiwan Claxton will be moved to tomorrow's show. He missed his flight, so we just keep progressing and moving up to further in the week. But Devin Brock will join us at 11:40 a.m. Pacific, 2:40 p.m. Eastern. Let's go to Dan in Oregon. What's up, Dan? How you doing?
What's up, gentlemen? Thanks for coming back, Jesse Jeff.
Thank you.
And I hope you get on one of those Vegas cards like you're hoping. There's 2 cards, so I think you got a pretty good chance. I want to give you guys some trivia, though, and so you guys can all guess. What does Esparza and Rose have in common with UFC Utica?
Is it a person?
Esparza and Rose have in common with
So whatever that card called. So what does Tough 20 have in common with UFC Utica? That might be a better way to say it.
I only know one matchup on UFC Utica right now.
Ellenberger, right?
Yeah, Ellenberger and Barberina. I doubt they fit into the equation.
What other info do you have, Dan?
Oh, boy.
No, Utica, didn't they get Rivera and Marlon as well? I think that's the headline bout. Marlon Moraes and Jimmy Rivera. Ooh. So, I don't know, Dan. That's a tough one. You stumped us.
And this is my point, man. This is a Friday card.
Yeah.
When is the UFC plan on telling us that they got these weird-ass Friday cards going on? Every once in a while there's a Sunday card. It's just I don't know. I got some more trivia for you guys. That one's a pretty good stumper.
But what the fuck was the answer?
Yeah, we're hanging on every word.
Just that it's a Friday card?
It's Friday. It's a Friday card.
Oh.
Well, how's that tie Rose and Carla in any way?
Because tough finales are on a Friday?
That was the Friday card as well.
Oh, man, so I could have actually answered they're all human beings, and I would have been right.
That is correct, George.
All right. What's next, Dan?
Round.
All right. George is a poor sport because he hasn't gotten guesses. Anyways, next question. What is the shortest amount of time between 2 UFCs? And these are pay-per-view cards, is what I'm referring to. UFC
okay. So I was like,
the shortest amount of time.
Wait, I think I know this one. Wasn't there one in Australia and then one in Vegas?
Pay-per-views, though? He said pay-per-views, right?
It has to be from pay-per-view to pay-per-view or a pay-per-view?
Yeah, is that a pay-per-view question?
Pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Yeah, pay-per-view to pay-per-view.
I
just remember the time when they split. The biggest thing was how Burt Watson was going to handle it, and I want to say it was that one.
Okay. I bet you I don't know the exact answer, but usually June had a quick turnaround to early July. It was like 2 weeks. And I want to say Dos Santos and Brock were going to fight on it, and maybe 2 weeks would be my guess. June to July.
Here's my answer. UFC 196 got messed up in 2016, and that was supposed to be the Kane Verdun rematch. And then we had that turned into a Johnny Hendricks versus Stephen Thompson fight night. So I think that bumped UFC 196 close to UFC 197. So I'll say UFC 196 to 197 got forced to be close together.
What is it, Dan?
Well, George, you're actually correct. It's 2 weeks is the shortest amount of time, and it was UFC 184 to 185.
184.
So it was like the Gilbert Melendez one, that card,
When
and then the Ronda Rousey card versus 184 was a Rousey card.
Oh, that makes sense. So it was a December to January turnaround then, because that 184 was in December, right?
February to March.
Oh, February to March. Okay.
28th to March 14th. But 2 weeks. George got that one.
Okay. All right.
And one more, and this will kind of lean the way of what Goes was thinking.
I hope we get a prize at
The
the end of this.
UFC has performed cards on the same day multiple times. How many times have they done it?
3?
Twice.
3.
3 is the correct answer,
Yes.
and they were all in 2014.
Not bad.
And if
All
you
right,
go
I
back,
got one for you though. Which caller has
Let's
asked
hear it.
3 times 3 different riddles and is now going to be hung up on in favor for another caller?
Take a guess, Dan. Who is it?
Take a guess. You'll never guess.
You're right. You won't. I got a question for you. All right, Rivera, Marlon Moraes,
Okay.
Carlos Barza, and Felice Herrig. What do they have in common?
Who are they again?
Rivera. They're all on the Utica card.
Okay.
What do
Is
they have
that
in
what
common?
they have in common?
No, no. There's one other thing other than that I can
Manager?
think of. Huh?
Manager?
None of them have ever been to Mars.
Damn.
Technically, right?
That is true.
That's
He's
how
got a
Dan
point.
made me feel with his question.
Yeah, it's got a point.
All right, Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Marco from Waco, ¿qué pasa, otros?
¿Qué pasa,
Marco.
Hi, lady.
Hey.
Hey, following Dan's trivia day. What are you doing, Dan? If I go to a restaurant, please butter my bread. Please cook my meal. I'm paying for a service. I'm not there for you to make me work.
Exactly.
You want a big kid?
Thank you.
Cook my meal for crying out loud. Yeah. Dude, interesting what you guys said about Joanna and Rose. But I'm picking Rose, you know why?
Why?
First of all, I agree with Jess. Joanna might be a little cheated. Remember that before MMA, she got a shitload of Muay Thai fights. So it's not like she hasn't been hit in the head for a long time. And I maybe started to cut out with her. And sometimes a person just got your number. And maybe Rose just got her number, dude. I'm riding with Rose, dude. I think she's the new queen. You know, she doesn't got as much mileage on her body, too. And she's coming into her own. And when it comes to Tony and Khabib, I got a feeling, and I'm going to ride with this, that Tony's going to get it done. Unorthodox guy, a guy that freaking never know what is coming from. Like, he doesn't mind getting hit. And maybe because of the 5-rounder, we never seen Khabib on a 5-rounder, maybe Khabib might gas himself out and get caught, man. So that's what I got for today. Peace out, dude.
Okay, thank you for the call. And by the way, I still have a problem with you guys saying you're more excited about Joanna or some other fights than Tony and Khabib. Is this just like to get people talking, or is this your true feelings?
just like the
'Cause I'm going to
matchups.
use an example on you, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You've always used this on others. All the fights start at the same time in 3 different ballrooms. You can only see one. Which one would you go in? Wouldn't you go in the ballroom that has Tony versus Khabib?
I
I'd go to
honestly
Would you-
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
You would really do
Yeah,
that?
I would go to
Rose, for
Felder
sure.
at Quinta.
Oh, that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my point isn't that these aren't going to be good fights, but I think at the end of the day, come on, man, a new champion is going to be crowned in the lightweight division between an undefeated fighter and a guy that's like 19-3 but 14-1 in the UFC. That doesn't interest you?
The main event
I haven't
has
been talking
more
shit.
of a potential of being one-sided
Yeah.
than those 3 matchups.
See, I don't-
altogether.
I don't think so. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, with Khabib and Tony, the only fight I care about is the one after that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about Khabib and Tony's fight.
You don't?
No, not at all. I want to see either of them fight Conor. That's the only one I care about.
I care a lot about it, but I think we'd be surprised at how many people have that opinion, though. I think that would be a common opinion from casual to hardcore both. I think that's a common opinion because, you know, there's also that we've all felt that fatigue when a matchup's supposed to happen as well and it doesn't. So that can go both ways, where it's like, well, we've already seen the girls go at it. We haven't seen these guys, but we also have fatigue from these guys where this matchup still feels hot and is exciting. So there's two ways. Me personally, I'm a lightweight mark for that division, and some breakdowns and some things that get me more excited than others. And this was one of them that does it for me. It gets me excited for that, and yeah, man, kind of like what Goz was saying, which I think Marco made a great point, because what Goz said. I feel like a lot of people are counting out Tony in this spot. I feel like we're seeing the same thing we saw with Joanna and Rose the first time around, where we're seeing, okay, yeah, sure, Joanna should definitely be favored, but by that much? Ooh, I don't know. This is a competitive fight, and I feel that way with Tony and Khabib. And you look at the promotion, and I think 25-0 is important to get behind. Right? I think they should be promoting it, but I think it's a little bit of a one-sided promotion when you look at that promotion.
Yeah.
Kind of like George's example on people's faces. Same thing in the poker room. There's guys, and they have a bunch of chips. They earn those chips. They deserve respect. They're big whales. But then there's those real sharp skins that they blend in with the crowd. They look like a normal guy. They pull up. They put their chips on the table. And they slowly go to work. They slowly chop your legs out from under you, and then they have you. They take the pot. That's Tony.
All right. I like it. We'll be right back. We're going to take another break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We still have to do our daily debate for the day. We got Showtime on line 3. We have lines open at 866-522-2846. And we still got to catch up with Devin Brock, Bellator fighter, who's fighting Sons of Legends. We'll be right back. We'll explain more on that one.
Peace. They can drink Mentos-flavored Diet Coke without their stomachs giving a single fuck. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
Just in time for the NCAA basketball tournament, Sirius XM has 3 channels dedicated to 3 of the biggest conferences in college sports. SEC Radio is on channel 374, ACC Radio is on channel 371, and the Pac-12 channel, the Pac-12 radio channel, is channel 373. Check them out on your radio or on the Sirius XM app. All right, let's keep progressing here through this last half of the second hour. It is now time for the daily debate. Jess, hopefully you'll participate with us here because I think we have a great topic and we have 4 answers, 4 directions in which we can go in. The poll has already ended on MMA Junkie. 2,830 people, 31 people voted, and I'll have Dan give those results. But here's the question. Conor McGregor beat Max Holloway by decision in 2013. If the 2 current UFC champions had a rematch today, what would be the result? Here are your options. McGregor by decision, McGregor by stoppage, Holloway by decision, Holloway by stoppage. Jess, what do you think?
McGregor by stoppage. Yeah, I think Holloway is an incredible fighter. There's no denying that. But I see his fight style as being pretty dumb sometimes. He tends to eat a lot of punches. You know, he will eat a few to give a few. And I think against someone like Conor, who has that sort of power and that sort of fight IQ, that's a really, really dangerous game plan.
Goes?
It's between those two. Definitely it's going to end in a stoppage, but I lean more towards Max Holloway only because I think he's a more mature fighter now, and I think Conor was able to get into his head a little bit the first time. I think he's done that to a lot of opponents, and I think that's kind of stopped for Max Holloway. I think he stopped paying attention to things. I think he's more hard-headed, and I think he'll get by this time, by stoppage.
Dan Tom.
Wow, it's tough. You know, the first fight was so long ago, you can kind of throw it out. Also, Conor injured himself midway through. Max injured his foot in the first round of that fight, so I think we could throw that fight out. Looking at it now, though, I actually would side with Holloway in the rematch. I think he could take a decision. I don't know about stopping McGregor. Both guys are really durable, but I would worry about McGregor returning to that weight class against a guy who has proven himself now since he's been gone, Max Holloway. He's very durable, has a building style, puts a lot of output. I could see him taking a decision.
That's a good point you brought up. We didn't really say at what weight class this would take place, right? Because at 45, you're saying McGregor might have trouble making that weight. You see Holloway at lightweight. Who did you like?
Lightweight, I'll still say the same because
Yeah.
we've seen McGregor have problems at 155 in a longer fight in boxing recently, and then with the Nate Diaz, those pairings we've seen him kind of fade with those fights. Come back as well, but was fade as well.
I did like what Jess said. Holloway does tend to get a little sloppy, a little too gangsta,
right?
And McGregor is precise when he is in there. So that was some good points you brought. Because I'm all about, I think, Holloway by stoppage, but she brings up good points. He does get a little bit sloppy, and against McGregor, you can't do that. Now, what's going to hurt McGregor is the longer he goes without having fought MMA. I mean, Holloway is just a train going downhill, and the other guy's going to come with a lot of rust, and he's just not getting better. He's out there spending money and making money, but is he really getting better? Holloway keeps getting better, so I think I'll still side with it. But you caught my attention. I may not run up there with all the hundreds of dollars that I thought I was going to. The results, let's see here. 45% by McGregor by stoppage. That was the popular one. Now, let's not forget he's also a pretty popular fighter, so some of this could just be, hey, I'm all about Conor McGregor. But in second place was
loyal fans.
Oh yeah,
fans as well. Flans.
If you would
Holloway was 27% by stoppage. Sorry, guys, and Holloway by decision was 17%. McGregor 11%. So it was pretty balanced.
If I would have took McGregor by decision, it would have been the first time we all picked a different option out of the 4 options.
Wow, it would have been.
It would have been. There you have it. That's the daily debate for today. All right, so I think we're awaiting Devin Brock, or do we have him yet? Jolton Josh?
Jolton Josh, bringing over my At the Fights nickname. So I actually just got off the phone with James, and he says that Devin is done wrestling in 8 minutes. So do we call him back in 8 minutes? So I'm on the fly producing here.
Oof. Yeah, let's take this call from Showtime. I'm going to take this call from Showtime. We'll take a break, and then we will discuss the future of Devin Brock on the show, because I think we might be cutting it close on time. So let's talk to Showtime in Tennessee. What's up, Showtime? It's yo time.
What's up, fellas?
Showtime.
What up?
What's up, Showtime?
Not much, man.
looking at these cards, man, I'm trying to decide if I want to go to one, man. If I want to go to, I know that the New York card is probably out, but I may check my boy out in Atlantic City, man.
Okay. Kevin Lee and Edson Barbosa?
Yeah.
And now they added Cub Swanson versus Frankie Edgar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too soon for Edgar, Jess?
Yeah.
He just got knocked out, really?
He's fine. It's Frankie. He is the man.
All right. I don't know. I mean, okay. Hey, Showtime, settle me this. Oh, wait a minute. You just want to beef, don't you? She just wants the beef.
Just go.
All right. So
I'm Frankie 100%. Like, I back Frankie against
that's right.
anybody.
You cried for 2 hours, right?
Dude, I was a mess.
Yeah.
Like, a legitimate mess at the last pay-per-view here.
All right. Hey, Showtime, quick question. You're in New York, and you're sitting there, and you hear them say, Tony and Habib, you know, they're walking to the ring. And then you also hear, for anybody else that's wondering, Rose and Joanna are going to start in the arena right next to us. Which fight would you go see, Showtime? Would you stay in that arena with Tony and Habib, or would you go in the other way? Oh, and get this, there's another
he's
ballroom.
already in the arena with Tony and Habib?
No, he's not. He's in between both arenas. He's late. And there's another arena, and they just announced that Felder and Iaquinta are about to start. Goes is in that arena, by the way. Jess is in the girl arena. Which arena do you go into?
I'm going to see Tony and Khabib. I mean,
Word.
That's the fight I want to see. And to be honest,
It should, it doesn't mean the other ones suck, but that's a great fight, man. You two are crazy.
Yeah, that fight, that's going to be crazy. Hey, man, I was looking at that card, man. I think I see a lot of upsets on that card, too, man. There's a lot of, I think I'm going to make some bets probably today before some of these odds change a little bit. There's a lot of dogs on there. Hey, when you get a chance, George, tell Goals to show you that little bullshit show that I hit this weekend, man. This little funny, crazy shit.
So you have to show it to me because I didn't see it.
Card for free. Yeah.
Send it to me so I can show it. So I can show it to Goals.
A $3 parlay paid $3,900 on the games this weekend.
You hit it?
Yeah, $3 paid 30. Yeah, I sent it to Goals. Goals has it.
I has it.
Nice. All right. What was it on baseball or MMA?
Nah, basketball on the tournament with all these upsets.
$3.
All this crazy shit.
Congratulations, my
And
man.
it was crazy. I had just lost my ass off on the fight this weekend because everything was so crazy. So I basically was down like $800 and came back at the end of the night and hit like $3,900. I was like, damn, oh, $3. Like, okay.
Well, now you got the money to go to Brooklyn. Why you should be going to all these shows? New Jersey, Brooklyn, Utica.
You know what? I thought about Brooklyn, but you know what? I've always wanted to go to Atlantic City. That's always been on my places about wanting to go to. I'm really not a big New York guy, man, to be honest. I mess with Luke and them a whole lot about New York on this show. I'm not a big New York guy. I think I would have more fun in Atlantic City because I can move around a little bit better. Maybe I might get me and Lerone. I might get him to meet me out there, and we may do us a road trip.
All right, my man. Thanks for the call. Good hearing from you.
Okay.
I do want to ask you this, Jess. Paige Van Zandt did some media recently. And She did. This was in London. I believe she was a featured guest or something. But this is a quote that one of our writers had brought up to me because they knew you were going to be a co-host today. And I'm going to read you the exact quote. According to Paige Van Zandt, she says,
Is it going to make me mad?
Well,
George is saying it.
Yeah.
No, but you know,
we're beefing today.
Yeah.
It says, I felt awesome, and that was the biggest thing that was unfortunate for me. It's how good I felt at that division. I felt great going into it. I felt great fighting at flyweight. And to not win the fight because of a broken arm, I threw the punch. I threw the punch myself. She didn't break it. I broke my arm all by myself on her head, so it sucks. Do you feel like that in any way is detracting from
the
win?
whole thing was about her breaking her arm. But she's true. I didn't break her arm. She broke it on my head. That's fine. People have broken many hands on my head. But that's not why she lost the fight. She was losing the fight before that happened. So, whatever. I still think she's really dumb for fighting at flyweight. I think, she felt like a small child in my hands. You
were playing with your food?
Yeah.
She's very popular.
Yeah.
So when she does do these look, media scrums, I guess it has some tidal wave effect, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when it was brought to my attention. I figured, well, you're here.
Yeah.
We'll ask you about this.
Yeah. No, I've been asked about that a lot because, like, obviously there was more media about her broken arm than me winning, which, to be honest, I feel like is kind of a saving grace for her. Because if she hadn't have broken her arm, then they wouldn't have had a reason to talk about her. So, good on her for
But you
breaking
think
her
she
arm.
needs to go to 15?
I think she's dumb for being at 25 because she's smaller than Beck. Beck was a big 15er. She's smaller than Beck again, and like Beck was little at 115. I think she's dumb for being at 25 as well. There's a lot of 15ers that are moving up that I feel like it probably isn't the best idea for them, but
Very well.
whatever.
All right, we got to take one more break here. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We will be right back.
Blah, blah, blah. Here are those two dummies, George and Goes.
All right, the latest rankings are up. USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie publishing every Tuesday. Check it out. Alexander Volkov made a big move into the top 5 with his win over Fabricio Verdum. Also, Darren Till and Kamaru Usman are beefing on Twitter. Check that one out.
Kamaru's
They're going
beefing
at
with
each other.
everyone on Twitter, though.
He has been with
so-
Colby.
I just saw
running from
something
Darren.
with Masvidal as well, just saying, yeah.
Yeah, I did see. Masvidal was speaking up, but Masvidal, I think, was firing back at his manager, Ali Abdelaziz. He said, hey, I fought the number 1 guy in Maya. I fought the number 2 guy in Wonder Boy. So I'm not really the kind of guy that runs away from. So that was a good reply. We'll see if Ali fires back. Also, and I had read this earlier, an event that will stream on an MMA porn webcam site or something like that.
I saw that headline.
What the
I
hell
didn't
is going on? Yeah.
click?
Michael Bisping says he wouldn't piss on Vitor Belfort if Belfort was on fire.
Damn.
So much less fight him in a
It's a Fall Out
rematch
Boy song.
in his final fight. Conor McGregor's sister was on Dancing with the Stars Ireland version, except she got kicked off it. I don't know if it's week 1 or if she made it to the finals, but she's out. Ronda Rousey did an interview. She was next to Kurt Angle, and she started breaking down and opening up a little bit. It's unique to see. I mean, she's fascinating. All the success she's had. Bronze medalist in judo, UFC world champion, and now WWE. You got to tip your hat to all that. But you can just tell, man, all these pressures of being successful and being the best. She seems like a wreck at times. And then lastly, Amanda Nunes does not want a third fight with Valentina. But I don't think it matters much because Valentina's at 25 now.
I don't see Valentina going back to 35 anyway. Like, she's not that big at 25.
I think she would for that fight, but she's lost twice. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
Regardless of
the
what
only
people
way
think
it can happen is because the divisions are a little bit more shallow. So
Still gotta take something though, right?
Like Ketlin Bear's in a nice spot after beating Kat. Kat wants to fight in Chile, by the way. Max Holloway still wants to fight Edgar. Lots of news there on the front page of MMA Junkie, and we're finishing up here. So I just want to ask you with this last thing, Jess. Number one option, UFC 226. Cormier Stipe, you want to be on that card versus Alexis Davis. Is there a number two fighter and card that you'll settle on?
No, I'll take pretty much anything. I just I'm so used to fighting every 3 months or so that now I've had already 2 months off and it's still 4 months away. I just want to fight. Is there another name though out there that tickles your fancy? Anyone. I'm ranked number 9. There's a lot of people above me, so anyone above me, I don't really care. I just thought Alexis is my ideal fight.
Has she answered you? Has this been public at all? Is she aware?
It's been super public. I'm sure she's aware. I haven't seen anything from her. I'm not talking shit about her or anything like that. So she hasn't really had anything to respond to.
Okay.
But it's it's getting a big fan push, and Mick Maynard said that he likes that fight. So hopefully, I feel like my name, even though I'm ranked lower than her, I feel like my name's getting big enough for it to be justifiable for her as well. And I'm undefeated in the UFC, so I think she'll take it.
I think it's a good match.
Yeah.
Makwan Amirkhani versus Jason Knight. That's already in the works for UFC Fight Night 130 in Liverpool.
That fight too. I like that fight.
Yeah. And Brett Primus, he's injured. He cannot defend versus Michael Chandler at Bellator 197. So stepping up will be Brendan Gertz will face Michael Chandler. Obviously there's no title stakes, but it's in St. Louis, right?
Do we know the injury?
It's in Missouri. And what sucks is that's where Chandler's from, and that just would have been a big pop for Bellator and Chandler
lightweight title being
if he was able to get his title back in his home state, and it just didn't work out that way.
Do you guys know what the injury is, though?
Negative.
No. I do not know. We mentioned Ellenberger versus Barberina. They're headed to UFC 131 in Utica, New York. Augusto Mendez flagged for possible USADA violation, removed from UFC Fight Night 128. Marion Renault wants to fight Ketlin Vera at UFC 224. I like that matchup.
Yeah.
Right? She's been streaking. Vera's undefeated.
It's a good fight.
And this one's willing to take the road game in Brazil. Cannot argue with that one. Yeah, and then going back to Swanson and Edgar, that's official for UFC in Atlantic City. So there's kind of your latest news. Hey, we had a blast having you back.
Thank you.
I hope things get sorted out with the Las Vegas Police Department. And keep us updated with that. Let us know about anything we can do to help out on social media, because I think you got a strong push last time, and we're very sympathetic to what happened, man. That sucks.
Thank you.
And for them to not react is a little frustrating for us.
We'll get there. Something will happen.
And I hope you get the Alexis Davis matchup here in Vegas.
That'll happen, I believe.
Awesome. The door is always open, and that chair is always yours anytime you want to come back and co-host.
Thank you.
We'll have the Yetis music ready to go. Please go out there and watch the Rocky series, though.
You guys didn't give me a movie, though.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
I'm going to think about it.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
That
one's a good one, too, though.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
It's an 80s
Die Hard
movie.
is
You'll like it.
stuck with me, so I'll bother you about that.
All right, so we will have Claxton and Brock on tomorrow's show, but I do want to thank Artem Lobov for his time, and, of course, Jessica Rose Clark for her time. Big shout out to myself for lining up the Lobov interview. Shout out to Goes and Danny Rube for lining up Jessica Rose Clark. All right. Danny, I hope you get home safe. Josh, you did a great job, as always.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Dan, Goes, you guys brought it, and I, of course, took it to another level. I was fantastic. All right, we're out of here, folks. Go out there, have a nice day, and be champions.